Okay. Okay, Rabbi, so we're daf Vav Beis. Gufa. This is a very important halacha. Basically, what we're going to say here is that whenever you have some type of mixture, some type of tarevis of food, whether it's like a cereal or a soup, well, I should say soup is a little complicated. Let's scratch that soup. But any type of combination. So the rule is, whenever there's mezainis, there's chameshes minei dagon, so that's kaveh the bracha by mezainis. So that's what we'll see here. Gufa. Rav Moshe Binyomin calls sheyesh boy. Whenever it has, again, it's talking about some type of dish, something which is cooked together. Chameshes minim, v'vochen lo, boirim name mezainis. You make a mezainis. Now this is a different halacha. It's just saying this is just saying that which is, right? The first one was kol sheyesh boy. Now we're saying kol shehu michameshes haminim mevochen alav borei minei mezainis. And the Gemara says tzricha, which is pretty obvious that you need both statements. Yashbid and kol shehu have minim shum de'isa ve'eneh. Now, I wouldn't have known, just because you say whatever is a grain, you make head, I wouldn't necessarily know the concept that when there's even a miyat, when there's even a small amount of mezainis in a mixture, you make mezainis, right? I wouldn't have known that. Yes, when you call shuah, you know when you say that's when it's actually there, you're eating it. It's be'en. Well, they tell this load. We asked me, okay, now well, so if you say kol sheyesh bo, so then I know whenever it's mezainis, make mezainis. That's should be pretty obvious. No, kol sheyesh bo hamina, kol sheyesh bo chameshes hamina in. So I would have thought we exclude certain things of or is it loy mishnei tarovis lo. The reason is the reason why we don't make mezainis on some type of food that has also a small amount of rice in it is because it's rice, but because it's mixed of an isa ve'ena. But if it's just rice itself, or we'll see how do we define these things? Oreis doichin. One of them is what we call rice. Nema filu oreis v'doichin. Not uvachil mezainis kamash b'lo and kosher. No, you don't make mezainis on grains, even though they're grains, but they're not the 5 grains that Torah spoke about. They're not the chamishas minei dagen. That's only on the far. Rabbi said we're on the top of Lamed Zayin with Aleph, by the way. We're a few lines into Lamed Zayin with Aleph. Kosher with chamishas aminim with the V'achar Allah by Mezainis tafuki ois v'doichin tafilo b'isa ve'ene. We do not make borim Mezainis. Now we're going to question this second assumption. Actually, we're going to question, and we're going to see. In fact, Allah comes out that we do make Mezainis on ois v'doichin.
What in the Mishnah case of worship, it says pre Adomo, why doesn't it mention Remedy Mazonos?
Listen, the Mishnah is saying, I think the answer to the question is that the Mishnah is talking about the biggest payments. So we're not addressing, the Mishnah is not trying to address every bracha that possibly exists. It's just saying, we're going to introduce you to brachos, there's also going to give us a payments. And there's a payments, there's Priya 8, there's Priya Dama. Now you can take the Priya Dama and of the bread, you know, and you can make it pass. That's true. But we're not going to get into, so mezainis is like, they also make chocolate. Is there any brachas that were instituted to cover other things a little beyond the realm of natural payments? In other words, the difference is, the Mishnah is really talking about either the payments, the natural produce of the tree or the ground, or the natural parts of the tree, the ground, which is elevated up to its highest possible status. That's the topic of the Mishnah. So you're right to other things that we're going to have to get in Chazal and maybe into in other places, but right now, that wasn't the topic, that wasn't relevant. Okay, let's go on though, we're running out of time. Something more vital. So now we're going to question, for Oireis, v'doiche, lo yivachim lo yivachim. Is that true? What that? The price of the pass is v'doiche pass. So pass is v'doiche, to do safe. You make, just like when you were to be cooking grains in a pot, you're making like a cereal, grain cereal, something you're cooking in a pot, you'll make mezainis. So too, you make the bracha, same bracha on the rest. We got basically that. How do we know that? Because now the bracha by mezainis. So how do you see from here? The equation, we're creating the rice with your cooked grains. So my answer is, Kemaisi don't like Kemaisi, not quite. It's a little way I basic. Kemaisi data to the site. It is similar to Kemaisi data that we work to the site. So we like Kemaisi data between them by the Zayis, Ulip Saif, Racham and Shalom. If you love between Racham Shahakol. No, you don't make sense on rice, make Shahakol, tomorrow. Ulip Saif, go watch it. Okay, in fact, another question. Is that true? Is always not itself considered a Maisa Dei which gets a Mezainis? If you give a list here in the Raisa of what's considered Maisa Dei to make Mezainis. Again, Maisa Dei just means, is a term we're saying, is when you cook something in a pot. In other words, if you take grains and you make it to flour and you bake it, that's considered bread. That's a Maisa. Whereas you take the grain and you process it differently, you cook it, whatever it is. So that's called Maisa Dei. So always Maisa Dei, and these are following our potential ingredients, of Maisa Dei. Chilka, targis, soilus, Zoris. These are all grains. If you take, it's just how you cut the grain. Chilka is you take the grain and you cut it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. These are all ways of cutting the grain. Exactly why it's such a great chiddush in one or the other, but the point is that it's all considered ma'aser deira and oils. And one of the list is also rice. So there you go. So what's that's not right? You have to remember there is a shita. We'll see second who says that I treat rice as no differently than I treat wheat. So it's also satiated grain, and therefore we'll see. Because it is considered a grain. In fact, well, if it's a grain, so on Pesach, if it's chametz, if it gets it gets water and it ferments, so then you have kares. And on the positive note, on the Pesach, if you grind it up and you make matzah, you're good. Look, the Abbanim disagree. They hold it's not grain. Rice is not grain. Rice is rice, and you can't make bread out of rice. It's not called bread. It's not called chametz. The Abbanim perfectly was that true? No. Okay, this is wheat. Now talk about if you grind it, and make flour and bake it, bishlam, as much as you can, and then you cook it even. So then it depends. Here we get into a little bit of another technical issue. What if you take bread and you cook it? You put the bread in the soup. So we'll remember this because we're going to discuss this more on the base. So if they're still intact, the pieces of bread, we'll see that means. Pashas means it's kazayis. It's kind of like an audit. So then you make a mitzi. It's like a brachos. And you make veg. And it was the others. It's not kazayis. You make mezainis. Now here we go. This is the pashas. Now what about a kaisis sa'odis? Now a person just chooses rice, raw rice. Take the rice, which now we do. So obviously which you see that you do, even if you don't agree, obviously the rice is bread, it's like it's grain, you do make mezainis. And should be no different than bread, than other grains. The allowed rabbanim. And it must be rabbanim. The Rav So we see that in fact we make a mezainis on rice, not like Rav Shmuel said, kol shehu. So after you want to write if you chew a grain, so you make a dama. In fact, in Gemara, doing that differently, but it's very specific bracha. That the answer to Kasha, is actually similar machlekes that we have in our Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda has a very specific brachas. So the same way he has a very specific bracha by vegetables, so too by grains to come up also with a very specific word meaning zerayim. So I said before, I'm going to quote now the rice before. Rice, you chew it. Okay, you cook the rice, now you're cooking it in a pot. So even if you have a bread, when bread still retains its identity, but here you make the cycle and shows. Now we ask a new question, now we begin a new rice. Why do you say you make al-mikh and rice? We learned in the rice that you don't make a bracha for rice. Now that Rashi says it doesn't mean nothing, it just means you make a very flushes rabbis. You don't make a whole big bracha, you just make very flushes. So it's a contradiction. So how are we going to reconcile? So we have 2 branches. One says you make al-mikh and rice. They both would agree make mezainis on rice. They're not arguing that point. But they're disagreeing about the bracha for as we love rice. That's why we'll eat rice. We're going to see. We're going to make bread flushes. We're going to make mezainis. We'll make bread flushes on the rice. So hold up. Pay attention to rice. It's a little bit calculation. We're going to lay down 2 sheets in the Tanayim, and we'll understand what's going on here. I'm going to check this. Look, actually. Whether or not you make a al-mikh or bread flushes, that's going to be totally or a big machlekes between Rabbi Yehuda and bracha for. Let's see another time. Exactly. Kol shivas aminim. Any which is shivas aminim, meaning the 5 grains or any of the grains. I mean, it includes also all the grains here in this issue, or all the different fruits. The pasuk praises Eretz Yisrael. So, Rabbi says Shalish Brachos. Now, Rabbi Chiddush, he says, if you're eating some dates, so you bench on dates. You make a because no, as we do. Brachos and Shalish. No, this is Chazal instituted in Shalish. Al eight. In fact, they were together once. There was something this happened in Yerichon. If you live Neim, Kesavis, and they brought about some dates for Achlu. Okay, and now they say we're going to say bracha for him. We're going to do Mekiva, Levarach, Kafet Tzibirach. Mekiva bracha after Shas. What did Mekiva do? First thing he did is, maybe he made a light, made an church. So I'm going to Mekiva. What's it the matter? What are you getting involved? I told you to bench. I'm in charge here. Remember, when Leil's a Nasi, we learned about him right at the Fes. So only Rabbeinu, after we shot, I came. I'm getting the Tan Rabbeinu. You're the one who taught me. So I'm sorry, this is your opinion, but I go according to the Rabbi. Now Yehuda quoted him a little differently. If it's shiur or if it is mindogen or any grain for that matter, any type of grain, so So again, Gamliel says you bench, right? If you eat a piece of cake, according to Gamliel, you bench. Even if it's not bread. Or you, Chachamim Oimrim, Bracha Achas, Kol Shein, Bracha Achas. And Kol Shein, Lo Shivas Aminim, V'lo Midogim. For example, Pas Oireis V'doichen. So here again, we have Machlokes. This is what we're trying to get at, to explain what's going on. Gamliel says Bracha Shalosh, Chachamim V'lokum. Oh, so this is our Chachamim. You're right, we have a contradiction in the two Shitas. So Gamliel says Bracha Reina, and Shalosh, rice, and the Chachamim say, V'lokum. Again, which Rashi interprets to mean Boyin Nefashos Rabbis. So now, okay, we're going to go one more step here. Zok Gemara, my Kimta, Gamliel. That which, okay, so you want to explain it, the original rice is like a Gamliel. And that's why you make alamichia on rice. So I understand. Aim is safer. The ratio. Let's go back to the second part at the beginning. It says as follows. Because again, this is the rice we just learned to know in Aleph. If the prusas are not kayamis b'tchila, I mean, again, we're interpreting that right now means it's less than the kazayis. With varach halal, what do you make kazayis? You don't make a moitzi, you make kazayis. I'm sorry, brother, I'm shalosh, make alamichia. Now who's that? Either Gamliel, it's not true. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, it's with Isa, I'm Gamliel, your brothers. He says, you make, even on cereal, that's what we said min dagan, or even on rice, for that. Or even, sorry, even on dates, or even on, that was the first part of Gamliel, our Mishnah here. He's very liberal about making alamichia. Or making benching. He always says you bench. So why would you bench over here? So what? So now it broke off with less than his eyes. So why in the world did you bench? On cereal you're benching, those are little pieces. On dates you're benching. Well, what's the problem? So how could it be Gamliel saying that you don't bench? If this in fact is she's from Gamliel, it's not clear. So no, so you have to, that whole theory goes out the window, and we go back. So what's the theory? There's two sheep, what's going on here? It is Rabbanan, so is it alamichia, or is it Fashas on the rice? So you have to touch it on the Rabbanan, it's theory. Oh, it's Rabbanan. So you're right, it is Rabbanan. And really the only solution we have to reconcile this contradiction is we have to go and edit the Brisa. We'll go back and edit it, and we'll say that it says, in a Okay, stop.